Hi, my name is Steve Nagai-ma, and I'd like to share a story with you about how a nonprofit's English service went from serving 1,200 students per year to serving nearly 1 million students per year without the need of additional money from foundations and donors. Let's start with some background. This nonprofit was part of a coalition that serves immigrants living in the United States, and they offered very highly rated, popular English classes that had waiting lists every semester. But they couldn't scale up because, one, they couldn't find enough free space to hold their classes in, two, their pay was so low that they had trouble recruiting teachers, and three, they couldn't raise enough money to subsidize the cost of their program from foundations and donors. If you're familiar with nonprofits, this story is all too common. So leaders of the coalition began working with me and a team of social entrepreneurs, and we took on the challenge of creating an English program that could do three things. One, teach English very effectively. Two, serve hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people. And three, break even financially so they wouldn't have to raise a ton of money through philanthropic sources. So our team then engaged in a highly effective process for innovation developed in Silicon Valley called Lean Startup, or when you use it for social change, it's called Lean Impact. One of the keys to using lean innovation strategies is to build small-scale prototypes of your ideas, get them in front of real users, and then make improvements based on what's working and what's not working, and to do this over and over again as quickly as you can until you've validated that your idea actually works. One of our first ideas was to connect English learners with volunteer conversation partners. So we recruited a few volunteers, we recruited some English learners, we matched them together, and we tested to see whether this idea would fly. We realized quickly that recruiting and retaining volunteers at the scale that we wanted to hit was not going to be viable with this model, so we moved on to a different idea. We also tried online coaching sessions where students would log on and get instruction from a real English teacher, and while the students loved the classes and they were willing to pay, a huge percentage of them didn't have credit cards or they were unwilling to put their credit card numbers into an online form, so payment became a big problem. We also tried partnering with existing schools to add an out-of-the-classroom component to their existing curriculum, but the service was expensive to run and schools weren't willing to pay for them at a sustainable rate. Our ideas weren't working for one reason or another, but because we were doing things in a lean way, we hadn't invested a whole lot of resources into what we were doing, and at the same time we were learning a ton about how to engage with the students we wanted to serve. Then we started providing English learning tips, strategies, and content through short messages on students' phones, and we brought in ad revenue when people engage with our content online. This idea showed promise at teaching people English, but it took a little more than $2 to acquire every student, and we were only projecting to make about 40 cents per student over their lifetime engagement with us. So we were far away from our goal of breaking even financially. So we moved into a phase where we tried a whole slew of ideas to try to make our business model work. We were using ads to get people into our program, so we changed the ads. We changed the image on the ads, we changed the text on the ads, we changed the targeting on the ads, and little by little our acquisition costs went down and down and down. On the revenue side of things, we knew we had to increase engagement with our content and retention with our program, which was also good for English language learning. So we tried a number of things, including multi-day lessons, themed content. We changed the look and the location of the buttons on our messages. We changed the time of day that we sent our messages. We had interactive quizzes and flip cards. We tried 1 lesson per day, 2 lessons per day, 3 lessons per day. We were essentially moving through Lean's build, measure, learn feedback loop very quickly, and we found that a number of ideas actually worked, some of them very, very well, and we saw our revenue go up and up and up, and eventually we created a model that was sustainable. This process helped us build something that is now serving over 900,000 people. It's transforming people's lives in a very real way, and it's not using more philanthropic dollars than the original program was using that was only teaching 1,200 students per year. And this lean innovation example is not a one-off success story either. The lean process has helped the Sierra Club increase its donation rates by 500%. It's behind the largest African American voter turnout campaign in U.S. history, and it's helping nonprofits around the world solve problems like hunger and poverty and countless other issues. Now imagine how much good we can do in the world. Imagine how much suffering we can reduce if we stop making our solutions for social change just incrementally better and instead made them 10 or 20 times better. That's the kind of results we can achieve when we invest smartly in social innovation. Thank you for listening to the story, and if you want support in your own social innovation efforts, please check out flyingbird.us. Thank you.